So glad you could join me today. We're going to talk about, really kind of what do I have inside my medicine cabinet. So I'm going to talk about what am I using at home, and also too, like, because a lot of times people think, okay, if you're doing natural alternatives, it can be very expensive, and actually none of these things are really expensive at all too. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of intricate details about every single ingredient in these, because I have about 20 different things here. So I only have about a minute each to kind of go through them. So, but one of the first things I'm going to go through is a company I really like. It's called Tea Tree Therapy. And Tea Tree Therapy, obviously, the main ingredient in all their products is tea tree oil. Why I love tea tree oil is it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It's really one of the best things at like killing anything. And so also, just as general for this talk, I'm not really talking about supplements. I will get into a couple that I think has some special uses, but it's more like kind of like personal hygiene or different like first aid type of issues. So one of my, and we've used this at home for a long time, and I'll hold these all up, cut to the camera so you get a chance to read it, look at it. This is Tea Tree Therapy, the antiseptic cream. This stuff is just wonderful. It actually, you can use it on any kind of skin irritation. You can use it on any minor cuts, sunburn, even insect bites, any type of where your skin is like irritated, and that it works really well for that. I'm going to do a sidebar, because one of the ingredients that it has in here on top of the tea tree oil is calendula. And actually, I'm going to hold up. This is like a calendula cream here, and we always have calendula cream at home because it's wonderful stuff. Anytime that the skin is irritated or red, calendula really kind of helps with that. So this would be something more, well, you just have some irritated skin, but you don't necessarily need the antiseptic quality. This would work wonderful for that. Even one of our patients, Jan Wade, she used to make her own calendula cream and mix it with coconut oil, and that's what we used for our kids when they were young for diaper rashes. We used to use that as opposed to any other type of diaper rash cream, and the calendula would clear things up amazingly fast. So this actually is a combination of calendula, tea tree oil, aloe vera. So it has a bunch of things in there that really kind of helps calm anything skin related, calm it down. But so I like a lot of other stuff with tea tree oil or tea tree therapy. Great company. This is their eucalyptus soap. That stuff is great. And also too, this is a eucalyptus chest rub. This is what you obviously put on the top of the sternum, base of the throat, at nighttime. You can actually breathe it in, and actually helps open up the sinuses. And yeah, we'll close that screen there. Good. And so anyway, this is wonderful stuff too. This is for someone's having a cold or something like that. Hey, Dr. Connor, could you handle that screen there, please? So anyway, sorry, this is much better than anything Vicks related. And so this is a wonderful thing to have. This also has some lavender oil, peppermint oil. It actually is, it's, even though it's smaller, costs the same price but as a big thing of Vicks, but it's much more concentrated. A little dab will go a long way with this. Okay, so there we go. Okay. Next thing I wanted to show you, which one should I go for next? Okay. I really am a fan of different throat sprays and that. So this is one I've been using a lot lately. It's a TheraZinc. This is from Quantum Health. My wife prefers the Zand one. Company is called Zand, and I can't remember what theirs is called. I think it's called something like an everyday throat spray. But This I've been kind of liking because it actually has some peppermint oil in there, as well as elderberry in, and of course it has some zinc in. And I've been, especially over the past 18 months, I've been taking more zinc because the research is showing that uh, a lot of the research showing that if you have a zinc deficiency, you're much more likely to be hospitalized if you do get COVID, because eventually I think everyone's going to be getting some exposure to that. So that's that. Having a proper level of zinc is really important. Okay, so some other ones to do too. Some of these are going to be more because we're getting into the cold and flu season, so I want to kind of mention some of those. Let me go to this first. Actually, one thing I forgot about the tea tree oil is I like their toothpaste. I think their toothpaste is awesome. Now my kids, I'm gonna show some stuff, some kids stuff here too. But this is the one that my kids use here. This has xylitol in. One cool thing about xylitol is that it's strongly anti-cavity. This toothpaste has 25% xylitol. Also too, it has nothing harmful in here. It does have tea tree oil in as well too. It's sweetened with stevia. So this is great for kids to use. And again, it's not that expensive. I think a tube is like $3 or something like that. And so it's very, all these things. I don't think I've showed you anything that's maybe more than $10. I said even this stuff here, I think is maybe $9-10. It's all very affordable. And this easily lasts us, even with the kids getting scrapes and stuff like that. This still lasts us well over a year. I call it the magic healing cream, because you put this on the kids there one night and they'll have like a skin knee or whatever, and 2 days later it's gone. So it's really helps with the healing process. And that's one of the things that I look for when I'm looking at these different products. I'm looking for something that works with the natural healing properties of the body, not something that overrides the healing properties of the body. For example, for a supplement I like to use for, because something we should have in our medicine cabinet, you need something for some pain relief, like you stub your toe or something like that. You need something to kind of knock the pain down for a couple of days until it calms down. You want to have something. So this actually is D-Flame. And what I like about this is this actually works for, this actually is a natural NSAID. So instead of like Tylenol, Advil, Aleve, this is a natural version of that. And it actually has some things to actually help reduce the pain levels very quickly, and reduce the inflammation. And it doesn't stress the liver or the kidneys as well too. So it's used really useful for that. So this actually works with the healing properties of the body as opposed to against, because actually one of the things that the research is showing, that when you're taking an NSAID, it stops or halts, greatly slows down the cartilage repair. So actually, if you're taking for a joint that's might be damaged or injured, well, really what you're doing is you're slowing down the healing process, even though it's feeling better. Okay, so which one next here? Okay, so let me talk a little bit about deodorants here, because I have a strong allergy towards regular deodorants. I remember like in high school, I tried, all the name brands like Right Guard, Gillette, Old Spice, like all these like ones that you typically find. And I always had a reaction to them. So like, I was like, okay, I got to use something. And I found over the past, 20 some years, I've been, actually 25 years that's been an issue. I've tried a lot of different products, and I found, and it's so much easier to find natural stuff now than what it was, 25 years ago. And this is the one I found works the best, and for me. So when I talk about like different brands and stuff like this here, it doesn't mean that's the best brand. It just means like, hey, this is the stuff that I found that's worked nicely for us. So you might say, hey, I've used another brand and I found worked well for me. Okay, great, that's fine. This is why I'm going to show you what has probably worked best for me. And this is this one brand called Urban Cowboy. And I like the sport one because it doesn't have much of an odor to it. And it's natural. Like, I mean, it actually works through a whole day, where I find a lot of the natural ones don't do that. A lot of natural ones kind of break down early. So I find this one actually works, is one of the best ones. Also, too, how long a container lasts for. It tends to last for a much longer period of time. Like, I mean, this will last me for 4 or 5 months, where like, I mean, some of the other ones would last me like 2 or 3 months. So I find the longevity for that one is really good. So something I want to also mention about brands here. I mentioned the D-Flame Protocol for Life. Protocol for Life Balance. I really like that brand. This is not going to be an easy one to find because this is a doctor's brand. They only sell through doctors. So where you would get this is actually, you could get this off of our Wellevate website, because that's coming through us. They allow us to sell to you directly there. But you're not going to walk into you're not going to be able to walk into like a pharmacy or a like a department store pharmacy. Most health food stores will not have this as well either, too, unless it's directly ordered by the pharmacist itself. But it has to be through a pharmacist or a doctor. Protocol for Life Balance has some stronger ingredients in, so they want it monitored by a doctor. Also, too, what I really like about this brand too, is when all the ingredients come in, they test every ingredient before they put it together. And then also too, they test the batch after it's made. It goes through 2 testing afterwards. And if it doesn't pass their standards, meets everything's on the labels, what's on the label, and it meets their standards. If it doesn't do that, they dump out the whole batch and they start over again. And I've had some times where I went to order something and they're like, okay, well, that's not available right now because it didn't pass, and we had to throw it all out and start over again. It takes us 2 months to brew this. So like, I mean, I do know that their stuff is very, very good. So now this is a supplement I did want to mention because I said I wasn't going to do too much in the supplements, but this is actually a really good one, important right now for this is actually probably one of the most researched ones in dealing with viruses. Especially it's for there's been some especially with COVID-19. There's actually been some research showing actually that even research out in hospitals that have shown actually that people are able to recover faster using this, and that's NAC or N-acetylcysteine, and this is another Protocol for Life one. NAC is hard to get right now because the FDA is really coming down on NAC. Now, NAC has been around for years. Every ER has NAC in stock because this is what they use for Tylenol poisoning. So if you take too much Tylenol, this is what they give you to clean the liver out. So this actually has a great detoxifying effect, but also too creates it creates a lot of antioxidants in the body. Actually, it creates the strongest antioxidant, glutathione, and also too, what NAC does in the lungs is it helps with the mucous membranes. It's actually it helps reduce mucus. So kind of like almost like a Mucinex type of effect. So this is a really great thing. It's really strong, really potent. It's a lot of studies behind it. And I said, interesting right now, the studies are really showing if you combine this NAC with quercetin, it seems to have actually a great anti-COVID effect. And like there is actually going to be there's talk that some of the pharmacies are trying to, one of the reasons that the FDA is going after this is some of the pharmacies want to put together an NAC plus quercetin. They want to call it a drug, but it's more of a supplement, and create this kind of combo and actually, create it as a anti-COVID effect. And then they want to kind of knock it off the market and then of course raise the price on it. So that way, they can make money off it when actually it's something that's should be easily available. You can still get this off of our Wellavate website for now, but I know, like, I mean, Amazon does not sell NAC anymore. A lot of places don't sell it anymore because the FDA has been on the attack on them. And it's kind of sad because the only reason that FDA wants it off the market is because it's effective and it's safe. If you use to take too much, you just pee it out. So it's kind of a victim of its own success. What else do I want to talk about here? So actually, a lot of these things I mentioned, they're off of our Wellavate website. And you can get them elsewhere, but the thing I mentioned Amazon earlier, but you can't just get some of these off Amazon. But in terms of actually purchasing these products, I mean, you can get them at health food stores or whatever, which is great. But you buy something off of Amazon, they just care about getting the product to you. They don't care about necessarily getting it to you in the right way. So some different things they actually have certain enzymes in, or they have probiotics in or live material in, like a probiotic. Where enzymes, for example, that get denatured when they get significantly above room temperature. So especially in the summer, like you buy something off of Amazon, they'll just kind of put it in an envelope, and they'll have it sit in the back of the Prime truck for a while, and it'll heat up, and by the time it gets to you, it's not in good shape. Doesn't have its effectiveness. Where something like a company that's mainly sells supplements, like for example, such as Wellavate, will go, hey, it's warm weather right now. This is a product that's not heat tolerable. Let's send this to you in a cooler pack with a cooler case with an ice pack in. So they'll make sure it's shipped right, as opposed to so it's actually in good quality as opposed to not. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Air defense. Let me talk about that one for a little bit, because this has a lot of good things in it. And this is a formula. This is now Nutrition for Optimal Wellness. I've been using this for many years because I have a history of asthma. I've been dealing with asthma for since I was probably about somewhere between 8 and 10 years old. And I remember I used to play baseball, and I always had to take 2 inhalers before playing baseball. And even still then, if I hit more than a double, I was toast. Even rounding first base, I was almost completely out of breath. And it was mainly an exercise induced asthma, but also too would get bad, like change of seasons. And it wasn't really until I went to the chiropractor for the first time. I was 21 when I went to the chiropractor for the first time for a completely different reason. And I didn't even write on my form that asthma, because that wasn't something that was bothering me at the time. And I remember when the chiropractor was checking my posture, he said, do you have asthma? I said, yeah. How do you know? He said, well, I'm looking at your posture, and the way that your posture is, it's putting stress on the nerves that would supply the bronchi. So he said, just kind of, you would be more, just because of your posture and that, and looks like how your subluxations are, you would be more predisposed to that. And so I said, yeah. So he started working on it. And I really, after about 6 months of chiropractic care, I really hardly ever had to use my inhalers again after that. The only time I really, have to use it is every now and again. I will, especially change the seasons, if I get like a little bit of a cold or something, because, asthma is related to a heightened immune system response. So if I get a little minor like cold or stuffiness or sniffle, it accelerates the immune system, and then actually that will cause that will kick up the asthma. It will be a post-infectious asthma attack. So sometimes I'll have to take my inhalers for a little time, but this actually has helped really a lot too, because just even keeping things that what I like about this is, especially during change of seasons, this is really good to take as preventative. You take 1 or 2 a day as preventative. As soon as you start feeling something, oh, hey, I'm getting a little stuffy or something starts going off, you take 4. So it can be used preventatively, and actually really kind of helps balance the immune system before something really kind of takes hold. Um, Another thing I like for a couple of different reasons is for um, immune system, for um, not just for immune system, but for digestion as well too, is uh, this is an apple cider vinegar product, Fire Brew. There's also one called Cider Fire or Fire Cider. I can't remember which one it is, but this is just another brand of Fire Cider is the most common one, and it's actually a mixture of um, and even this type of product has been around for over 100 years. It's made in different ways, but it's really apple cider vinegar with uh, hot peppers and orange and like different fruits and turmeric and garlic, and you just take a little shot of this before a meal, and it can actually help digestion because it gets the digestive system going ahead of a meal. Also, too, it actually has a really nice um, immune system. It creates a better immune system response. They also actually mean I just got this because sometimes I see a product and I'm like, yeah, I like this other one, but I want to try this one out too. But this one is they actually just came out with one a couple months ago. It was a sleep one, and it was called Fire Moon. Oh, it's like not Fire Moon, Moon Brew. Yeah, it's called Moon Brew, and I just got that yet, so I do not have a report on how well that works yet. But I saw it, I was like, hey, let me try this out because I always like to try something before I recommend it. Um, good. I went through most of these. Let me talk about a couple other ones. Let me talk about arnica. Arnica is one of the most useful things to utilize. Arnica is homeopathic. It's mainly used for bumps, bruises, like any type of trauma, like you had a fall, anything like that. Arnica, it's a natural anti-inflammatory. And one of the biggest things is it helps the body heal faster through its natural processes. So you're not overriding anything. It actually helps with the healing process itself. So 2 ways to utilize arnica. So this is actually this is Highlands. This is actually one company. Another company that does homeopathic as well too. Actually, I have some other stuff for it. Is Boiron, and Boiron I think is from the 1930s. Highlands is from I believe it's from 1912. So these are like really old companies. Like I mean, this one's over 100 years. Highlands is over 100 years old. Boiron is like 80 something years old. So they've been around a long time. So arnica was one of their first products too. So I said arnica is really useful. So you can take this 2 ways. Orally works well especially if it's like an all over egg, like or multiple places, like you had it tumbled down the stairs or something like that, and you had to utilize that because it's more of an all over effect. There's also too like arnica in a cream or a gel format as well too, and this is one I really like here too because it's called Tea Relief, and it's arnica plus 12. So arnica is one of the ingredients in it. Also has calendula in there, and has some other things as well too. So this one actually is a little more of a kind of like a topical arnica on steroids. Arnica also works well too if you have like a really like hot arthritic joint, let's say you have arthritis in your knee and you put your hands on it, it's like, man, this is kind of hot right now, it's inflamed. This will work well nicely for that. So if it's one area or whatever, like the topical tends to work well. If it's multiple areas, oral works well. One nice thing about the Highlands one, it's not a tablet that you swallow, it's a tablet that dissolves underneath the tongue, or a couple small tablets that dissolve underneath the tongue. So, and this one has 250 tablets. I think it's like a whole bottle of this is like under $10. So it's really inexpensive too. Couple other products from Highlands. One thing I like about Highlands is they make a lot of stuff for kids. So this is Highlands for kids, like a sniffles and sneeze, and this is good for kids like 2 and really on up. Even an adult can use this, but again, it's like they make a lot of tablets that are small that dissolve underneath the tongue. So it's like, I mean, kid's not gonna swallow it or anything like that because it's a quick dissolving tab that will dissolve within about 5 to 10 seconds. This is another one here too, like a tummy ache for kids. This can be useful as well too, when needed. Couple other ones. I'm going to get back. This is the Boyaron, and you may have heard of this product. And I've heard about this product before, and it wasn't really until last year that we started using it. It's oscillococcium. That's actually the proper pronunciation, oscillococcium. And that is, or oscillo is actually the kind of the shortened term for it. And these are vials, and actually this helps with like more like a deep cold or a flu, kind of more just kind of helps you, takes the edge off, kind of reduces duration. But with flu, it actually shortens the duration and the severity of the flu symptoms. So it now I haven't used this yet, but this actually was my wife's family doctor that told her about this. And it is hard being, as a side note, it's hard being a doctor for a spouse. So I also too, I have a doctor that my spouse will see as well too, because they don't necessarily, spouses don't necessarily believe you. But anyway, where is this distributed from? This is from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, and this is distributed all over the U.S. So this actually is really, my wife and my son actually, when they got the flu last year, they used this, and they reported that they both felt a lot better, a lot quicker because of this. Okay. Same company, couple other things they use. Actually, my wife just started using this because change of seasons this time of year, like the beginning of October, she always gets some sinus stuff going on. So she actually started taking this. Same company, we just started using it this year because she liked the Oscillium so much. This is the same company using Sinus Calm. So she just started taking it earlier this year, and she noticed that that was helpful as well too. And this is also to a actually, this is Tea Relief. This is the same company that makes this, and they have, this is a natural nasal spray. So this is one that I like the natural nasal sprays because the medicated ones, what they do is they cause a rebound effect. So your body gets used to them, and then you don't have for a while, or you use it and actually does the opposite. It will actually close things off more. So the natural ones tend to actually work just as well, if not better. And also with decongestion. So another one I bought for my son because he sometimes, again, change of seasons, get some mild allergy responses or mild allergy effect. We bought this one as well too for that as well. Highlands does make an allergy one, and that's what we used last year. But I thought, okay, like we've been buying this, the Boyaron one, so we thought, hey, this year we'll try that one. So I'll let you know how that works later on. Okay, one of the last ones I want to talk about is ear oil. Wally's natural Wally's ear oil is great. Also too, now that makes this company, they make their own ear oil as well. I've used that one too. But they both have both of them are very similar. Tea tree oil, garlic oil, these things. Garlic also too is very just like tea tree oil, antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. You can use these, especially if kids are swimming. You can use this preventatively as a. Okay, you can use this preventively as so they don't get swimmer's ear, or if they actually are getting anything. You can utilize it for that as well. So typically I have a ear scope at home that I use. My kids have had several ear infections. I've never had them take them to the doctor. Pretty much what I do is I give them a cervical adjustment to allow the eustachian tube to drain. I do a reflex to allow which is sometimes we call the ear adjustment, to actually allow it causes a dilation of the eustachian tube, allows it to open up. And then also too, we use some drops, and like 9 times out of 10, I do that. I should make it more than that. 98% of the time I do that. And then the next day I look in the ear again, and it's clear. So that has really kind of prevented my kids have never been on an antibiotic for for an ear infection before. or they've never had to go to the doctor for, they've had swimmer's ear before and they've had ear infections before. We've always been able to handle it within 24 hours at home, using natural means, chiropractic and ear oil. Good. So I think I went through most of them. There's a couple ones I just didn't quite get to, but they weren't quite as important. But I want to kind of start signing off now, and something I'll let you know that's coming up. Our next workshop is going to be on November 9th. And you guys are really going to figure out what our workshop is going to be about, because we're going to have this out here. Ask the doctor, or so you can actually put a slip in here in terms of, hey, something to ask us. We want to have real questions, real answers. So you can actually put something in here, or if you want to email us, we can answer your question as well too. So on our next online one here on Zoom is going to be on Tuesday, November 9th. We're doing a little earlier in the month because later in the month of November, people get busy with the holidays and that. And so we're going to answer some of the questions that kind of interest you the most. So we want you kind of to design that. Now, if it's something like short and specific, what we'll do is actually we'll kind of record your answer and we'll put it on like our Facebook site or something like that. So and it's going to be anonymous. We're not going to use your names. But it's going to be and even if you put it in the box area where you don't have to put a name on it, it could be, because we want you to feel comfortable like asking about some of these things. And it might be, to be honest, if you have a question, probably someone else, at least several other people in our practice has that exact same question. But it can be very general things too. Like, it could be, hey, where do you see, chiropractic being as a healthcare profession in 10 years? Do you think socialized medicine would be better? Do you think, just kind of like in general, hey, some general things on health or the future of health. You can ask me just pretty much whatever if you feel like asking me. And then we're going to collect these questions, and I'm going to have something prepared for you, and then we'll go over them. On November 9th. So help us out, ask some questions. And I said either we'll go over directly on the 9th, or what we'll do is we're going to be I set up a time with Dr. Connor on Mondays that we're going to be recording some different short little tidbit things. And I know I recorded 2 this past Monday, and he's going to be putting them on Facebook up very shortly. And then we're going to be doing that every week. So some of the shorter ones might be kind of going up on Facebook. So make sure you're checking our Facebook site regularly. We're trying to have some good information that you can utilize there as well too. So thank you for being with us tonight. But I kind of look at this as like, where else are you going to get this information? It's not like you're not going to be able, to tune in TV and get some information like I'm going to be sharing with you, and just just candidly as well too. So so if you have any other questions or any thoughts, please contact us. Please let us know. So have a good night. Thank you for being here. Also too, always the best. The biggest compliment you can give us is letting other people know about our office. So you can let them know they can always get an evaluation if you invite them in based off of this website or this web call tonight. It's only $25 for an exam, and please invite them to other. You don't have to be a patient to actually watch these webinars. So always invite them to that. We're going to have them on Facebook. You can always direct someone that you know to our Facebook, or to our YouTube page. So we'll talk to you later. Thank you. Have a good night.